Chapter 2, The Egg Fried Rice for the Big Black Dog. The scream resounded around his ears, but Bu Fang ignored it. He was still curled up on the chair with an empty gaze. He was actually looking at the system panel in his mind. System objective: help my host become the god of cooking that stands at the top of the food chain in the fantasy world. Host: Bu Fang. True energy cultivation level: none. As the god of cooking in the fantasy world, you will definitely need to make use of the true energy when cooking. Work hard, young man. Cooking talents, yet to be unlocked. Skills, yet to be unlocked. Tools, yet to be obtained. God of cooking overall rating: rookie. Your road to becoming the god of cooking has only just started. Follow the instructions of the system and become the man at the very top of the food chain in the fantasy world. Hey! Have you been listening? Are you the owner of this restaurant? The handsome young man shouted angrily while he stared at Bu Fang. Bu Fang calmly glanced at the handsome young man, lazily got up and yawned. The prices of the dishes in my restaurant are like that. You can leave if you can't accept it. My restaurant has always treated our customers fairly. We don't force anyone into buying anything. The handsome young man was bewildered by Bu Fang's attitude. After a moment of confusion, his fair-looking face turned red and his eyes flashed with anger. He thought, is that the kind of attitude a business owner should have? You. Look at the price of your dishes. How dare you even say that you treat your customers fairly? I bet you're just looking for a sucker to dupe. You scoundrel. Don't give me any excuses. I, Xiao Long, have already seen your true colors. Do I look like an idiot to you? Bu Fang replied, a little angry as well. As an ambitious chef with dreams, he hated it when others called him a scoundrel. I have my own reasons for setting it at that price. If you're not interested in ordering, you can always leave. I am not forcing you to stay. Bu Fang felt unlucky. He had been waiting since morning and instead of a customer showing up, he had to deal with a troublesome sissy. He thought, why is it so difficult to run a business? The handsome young man became even more testy. He crossed his arms and coldly stared at Bu Fang. HMPH. Are you trying to go at me? You probably thought that I would be provoked into ordering a dish, right? Then you would have successfully fleeced me. You think I am an idiot? Bu Fang was turned speechless by the handsome sissy in front of him. He headed towards his kitchen expressionlessly to begin his daily cooking practice. What's wrong? Are you feeling guilty? You have nothing to say now that I have revealed your sinister intentions. Let me tell you this, I, Xiao Long, am a great prodigy who hates injustice. I hate scoundrels like you the most. The handsome young man continued to stand there while hurling insults. However, even after waiting for a while, there was still no reply from Bu Fang. I will definitely make sure everyone in the Imperial City knows about you. I will make sure your restaurant closes down. Oh. I don't even need to do that. Anyone who sees your prices will think that you're an idiot. Xiao Long was annoyed that he was being ignored, so he continued to threaten Bu Fang. Silence. The small restaurant became extremely quiet, but soon a smell wafted from the kitchen. Xiao Long stood there for a while, stared at the prices on the menu. Finally the corner of his mouth twitched, he shook his head and decided to leave. For a plate of stir-fried vegetables to be sold for 100 gold coins, that was simply insane. In the Lightwind Empire, the smallest currency unit was the copper coin. A silver coin was worth more than a copper coin, while a gold coin was worth the most. A single gold coin was more than enough for an ordinary family in the empire to survive for an entire month. 100 gold coins. That was simply impossible for an ordinary person to afford. What was more, the egg fried rice actually needed a crystal. What was a crystal? It was a necessity to a cultivator. One crystal would be equivalent to 1,000 gold coins. Only a madman would set a price like that. The furious Xiao Xiaolong turned around and walked towards the entrance of the restaurant. Suddenly, his nose twitched a little. It smells good. A burst of smell had drifted from the kitchen and lingered around Xiao Xiaolong's nose. It was as if the smell had solidified and slid across his face like a piece of silk. It felt like a lover's caress, causing his entire body to shiver in pleasure. At last, Xiao Xiaolong found the source of the smell. He turned around and looked into the back of the kitchen. A slim figure holding a porcelain bowl in his fair hands emerged from the kitchen, as waves of rich fragrance continuously wafted from the bowl. Are you trying to tempt me? HMPH. No matter how delicious your cooking is, I won't be tricked. When Xiao Xiaolong saw Bu Fang walking towards him, he proudly raised his head and snorted coldly. Of course, were it not for his twitching nostrils giving him away, Bu Fang might really have thought he could not be tempted by delicious food. Finally, Xiao Xiaolong could not endure the temptation anymore and his stomach rumbled. Since you're sincerely offering me a taste of your food, then I shall reluctantly have one bite. Xiao Xiaolong turned his head towards Bu Fang and said. However, he was still speaking in a condescending tone, as if eating the food was a great honor for Bu Fang. However, in the next moment Xiao Xiaolong was shocked. Bu Fang did not stop in front of him, but instead he ignored him and walked toward the entrance. The confused Xiao Xiaolong was furious. He turned to stare at Bu Fang, but the next scene enraged him even further. Bu Fang squatted down next to the big black dog at the entrance and placed the bowl filled with the delicious-smelling food in front of it. Blackie, it's time to eat. Bu Fang rubbed the smooth and clean fur of the dog and smiled. When Bu Fang saw that the lethargic dog suddenly became energetic and gobbled down the food he made, his smile grew even wider. Xiao Xiaolong felt as he was struck by lightning. He felt that Bu Fang had just humiliated him in the most outrageous manner. You. Xiao Xiaolong's lips were trembling as he pointed towards Bu Fang with his long and feminine finger. Ha! You're still here? Bu Fang exclaimed in surprise. Bu Fang's exaggerated expression made Xiao Xiaolong feel as if an invisible arrow had pierced into his chest. He thought, ouch, it hurts. Xiao Xiaolong's lips trembled in anger. He snorted and stamped his feet angrily, as if he was a spoiled child, and rushed out of the restaurant. This sissy has gone crazy. Xiao Xiaolong had reached the entrance and was going to walk out, when his nose twitched once again. He unconsciously turned his head and looked inside of the porcelain bowl that the big black dog was eating from. The pearl-like rice grain wrapped in golden fried egg, it was so beautiful that it was like a work of art. However, at that very moment, the artistic egg fried rice was being eaten by a big black dog. A black dog. A dog. Home. The big black dog was enjoying its meal when it suddenly paused, as if it felt something. It looked up only to find a sissy staring at its food bowl. Alertness immediately appeared in its eyes. Then, Xiao Xiaolong watched as the big black dog reached out towards the bowl with its paws and pulled it closer to its body. The dog alertly bared its teeth towards Xiao Xiaolong. On its teeth, there were still some pearl-like rice grains. Am I being looked down upon by a dog? Xiao Xiaolong went into a daze for around 2 seconds, then flew into a rage. The Xiao Xiaolong's face turned bright red, and his eyes flashed with anger as he walked back into the shop. Bu Fang glanced at Xiao Xiaolong expressionlessly. "Give me a bowl of egg fried rice." "HMPH. I shall taste it myself. If it doesn't taste good, I will get the authorities to shut down your restaurant." Xiao Xiaolong threatened with a grimace on his face.